Remember when I told you that I was done with engraving slate coasters? Well, I have one more engraving for you, the last one. See, I thought I was done talking about slate coasters. Then people started asking if you can engrave an actual photo on the stone, to end up with a good quality picture. So I grabbed a bunch of old test coasters, sanded them down, tried a couple of different prep methods, ran fresh tests, and the results honestly surprised me. I know I often say this, but there's a lot of good here. You'll see. And if you ever wonder whether photo engraving on slate is actually worth the trouble, or whether coatings really make that much of a difference, this one is for you. Because today we're not just making some random old engravings though. We're rescuing old experiments and turning them into something way better. If you're new here, I'm Alex from Saverna Builds. Welcome. I'm not a laser guru. I'm more like your shop buddy who tests things, messes some up, and tells you what happened. I just like testing materials, settings, tools, and coatings, so hopefully you don't have to waste as much time, material, and patience figuring everything out from scratch. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I prep slate coasters for photo engravings, how I test them, what settings I like as a starting point, and which finish gave me my favorite results. And I'm also going to show you where things can go wrong, because this is usually where the good lessons come from. For this video, I used the same photo across a few different slate prep methods, so the comparison would actually mean something. One was a brand new coaster with a coat of lacquer. Another one was an old engraved coaster that I sanded back down and then coat it with lacquer too. I also did one reused coaster with black acrylic paint and another one with what I call my WWGB. 2 coats of white, 1 coat of gray, and 1 coat of black acrylic paint. All just regular water-based acrylic paint. Nothing exotic. And yes, the WWGB makes it sound a little fancier than what it is, but it's just paint. As you can probably guess, I had a bunch of slate coasters left over from previous tests and videos. Some were lightly engraved, some had deeper engravings, some looked like they had already lived a very hard life, and instead of throwing them into a pile of forgotten shop experiments, I wanted to see if I could bring them back and turn them into something worth keeping. This is one of the many things I love about testing though. Sometimes the pieces you thought were total failures are not quite finished yet. And slate is great for that. It can take a lot of abuse, a lot of sanding, and still end up looking fantastic. Now, can you engrave a photo on natural slate without sanding it smooth first? Yes, you can. I think for photo work, especially if you want detail in faces, fur, shadows, or soft transitions, natural slate can fight you a little. Those little grooves and ridges that make the slate look beautiful can also interrupt that fine detail. They add character, but they can also break up the smooth tonal transition that helps a photo look more photographic. So for pictures, I prefer to sand the surface smoother first. You can go all the way to that smooth surface, or you can sand just enough to remove the old engraving and leave a little of that natural line, that groove pattern behind. Stopping there gives you a blend of both looks. You get a smoother surface for the engraving, but still keep some of that natural slate character. I don't know if it's quite worth it for me personally, but I can totally see how someone else might prefer it though. For brand new coasters right out of the box, I usually use 120 grit sandpaper first. This is mostly just to clean them up before engraving. I just do this by hand. We just want a bit of cleaning, that's it. For reused coasters, I use my sander with 80 grit sandpaper to remove that old engraving. Could you use 60 grit? Yes, if you want to move a little faster. But it's more aggressive and you're going to remove more material. You can also end up with a lot more unevenness. Could you use 120 grit? Also yes, if you want to be less aggressive. It just takes longer, that's it. And one more thing, as you're sanding, do not stay too long on one spot. Keep moving. Wipe the dust as you go. That helps you avoid marks left by the sander,
and lets you see where the old engraving is still hanging on.
Basically, don't sand it like you're angry at the coaster. That never ends well.
Once the slate is sanded, I wipe it down with a rag here, and then I use a little bit of alcohol to remove that dust. I also measure the stone before engraving. A lot of these coasters are sold as 10 centimeter coasters, but once you actually look at the usable work area, sometimes you have about 8 or 9 centimeters left, sometimes even less.
For this video, I prepped 4 coaster types. Coaster 1 is a new coaster, never used, with 1 coat of lacquer. Coaster 2 is a reused coaster that I sanded down to a smooth finish, and I then went ahead and sprayed lacquer. Coaster 3 is another reused coaster that I sanded and sprayed with 1 coat of black acrylic paint. And the last coaster is what I call the WWGB version. That's 2 coats of white, 1 coat of gray, and 1 coat of black. All of them water-based acrylic paint. For this test, I will compare them all using the exact same photo. Because if I start changing the image, the prep, and the settings all at once, I'm not really testing anymore. I'm just adding too many variables, making it impossible for future me to know what went wrong.
And real quick, that WWGB version, that is basically what I use for my canvas engravings. If you've seen those videos, you know what I'm talking about. I will link it here so you can check them out too. For both the paint and the lacquer, I usually take my time and let them dry for a couple of hours. Read the can label because the manufacturers, they add the instructions there. I think they often put just there like 1 or 2 hours between coats. If I'm in a hurry, which is never good, I just make sure the surface is dry to the touch. Can you speed up the process? Sure you can. You can use a heat gun. Do I still prefer just giving coating enough time to dry and cure properly, naturally? Yes, that's usually the way I go. When I spray, I keep the coats light so the paint does not pool on the slate. If the weather is nice, I will do it outside. If it is winter, I use my spray tent in the garage, but I still open the garage door because I want some ventilation there. Same idea when I'm sanding. I want the vacuum actually grabbing the dust. I want to open the garage door and, of course, wear my PPE. It is not exactly fun, nor the cinematic side of the laser work, but it's part of getting better results, not making a mess of the process, and actually staying healthy. So with the coasters prepped, the next piece of the puzzle was the photo itself, because a good result starts with a good image. The photo I use here is of a very photogenic poppy. I used the same picture across all of the Slate coasters, so the comparison would actually mean something. This poppy actually came from Creative Fabrica. I went and downloaded it from there because they also have a fantastic array of pictures of all sorts, a lot of useful graphics and design resources for projects like this. So if you want to check them out, I will have my affiliate link in the description. For the best results, start with a clear photo, a photo that has already pretty good contrast. The laser can help, but it cannot perform miracles, right?
Before I engrave the final image, I run a material test. I know, very shocking behavior from me, right?
Now inside Xtool Studio, I try to size it a little bit so it fits. When it comes to photos, I like to use the exact picture I plan to engrave as a test image. You could use a gradient image. That is perfectly valid way to test, a more scientific way to test, some might say. But to keep things simple, I use the same image, I just shrink it down, and I do some very quick but very important edits. So we will select our picture, click the edit button on the menu at top, then on your left, select adjustments, and click on that grayscale box. You will get a quick slider below the grayscale and adjust it a little bit to your liking. I then push the sharpness all the way up, wait for the system to catch up, and then bring the contrast up a little bit. Once it is done updating, here's the crucial option you need to check. You need to invert the picture. This is key when engraving on black surfaces. If you don't do this, your engraving on coasters or any black material will not come out right. Don't forget to do it. And I run it through the Xtool Studio's material test array. The size of my test array depends on the size of the slate. A 5x5 or 4x4 or even 3x3 array can work very well on something this size. On smaller coasters, you may need to move things around a little bit. Also, once you know your laser and understand the process better, the arrays will get smaller simply because you know where the numbers are at. Or you have a pretty good idea where to start anyway. And one thing I often do is leave the speed and power labels visible in the file, but I do not engrave those labels on the stone. That gives me more room to use the actual coaster surface for image testing. Then I mark the back with a white marker so I know what settings I like later on. Because after a while, one test stone starts looking a lot like the next one, and it gets really easy to forget which settings gave you what. Now, some of the settings that you will see or that I will mention are specific to my Xtool S1 40-watt laser. If you own a different laser, the settings will be different. You can use all these steps to give you an idea, but you will need to test for your own machine. Again, for this video, I'm working on this prepped stones, lacquer, black acrylic, and the WWGB, right? That will require different test arrays. Each have a different setting, mostly because I know where to start from, kind of. Still, I have come to understand the need for testing and always prepare extra material just to have enough for testing.
Once the test finishes, give it a second before you decide what you think. Wipe the dust off, look at it in decent light, and then judge it. It can look pretty different once it's cleaned up though, you'll see. And if your eyesight is not what it used to be, you are in very good company. I gave up and bought a magnifying glass, and honestly, it was a solid move. When it comes to settings, I really wouldn't make this more complicated than it needs to be. Xtool's recommended settings for stone are a pretty solid starting point. That gives you something to work from, and then you can test your way towards the look you want.
Once I had the settings where I wanted them, I went ahead and engraved the final versions. Same poppy image, same overall goal, just different prep styles. That makes it a lot easier to see what is actually changing from coaster to coaster.
And honestly, this is where it gets really interesting. The sanded lacquer coaster is very nice and very clear. The black acrylic comes off a little cleaner and more modern. And the WWGB, that one feels like it takes things up another notch. This is what my poor eyesight tells me anyway. But Alex, where's the natural stone? Where's that test? You'll see it soon. All right, let's look at the results. All the results surprise me. I know, I always say this, I know. But the thing is that I still can't believe a laser can actually do this. Remember that natural stone, the raw one, the coaster that was never used? I didn't test that one though. I just took the default numbers from the Xtool material library, using the default Xtool numbers as my settings. No testing done, gave a result that was clearer than I expected, and honestly, I really like it. Yes, it does need a little bit more brightness, but again, all I did was take the defaults, place the stone on my laser, and got a really nice engraving. Click, click, next, next, finish. That type of thing. I will always recommend you do some testing, but I think it is a great starting point if you're just getting into this testing photo engravings on slate stone. The sanded version, again, with just lacquer, turned out great. The detail is very clear. You can see more of that gradient too, more shades of white and black. I think I would up the power just a little bit, but not too much. The fact that it's sanded from an old coaster, I tell you, I think you should just do sanded coasters for your photos because you get so much more detail. It looks great. The black acrylic version gave a strong, clean result and definitely leans more into that precise, modern look. I can totally see why people recommend this approach. It is another fantastic way to prepare your stone and get great results. And last but not least, my favorite, the WWGB coating. That layering of colors, you know, the two whites, the gray, the black, it just gives the stone another level. It adds a lot of detail, a lot of contrast. It just looks like a picture. I did go hotter and faster, meaning I picked a higher power and speed combo than I usually do when I do canvases. And that's because canvases are more delicate and I go a little lighter, and I also do a second pass. With these stones, I just went faster to speed up the process a little bit. Perhaps I could go a little lighter with the power though. Either way, this is a photo level quality though. Definitely a great thing to try. It is a level above, a little more special, I think. And here's where I think use case matters. This kind of photo slate coaster looks incredible on a display stand. But if you want something that is going to be a workhorse for your morning coffee, for example, I will probably keep it raw just to avoid the top coats or paint.
Natural stone handles moisture much better, and it cleans up with a simple wipe. You can use mineral oil if you want a top coat. Just remember that you will need to clean and reapply it from time to time. So for me, it kind of goes like this. For the memories, we sand and paint or lacquer. For coffee, we stay raw, natural.
If this kind of testing is your thing, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us tremendously and lets me know that you want more videos where I compare materials, coatings, and settings without pretending that there is one magical answer for everyone. As always, a huge thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping me keep making these videos and keep doing all this testing. If you also want to be awesome and help support the channel even more, check out Patreon. Just join the free tier. You might like what you see. And I thank you if you do. And if you're looking for the laser, tools, and materials I use, check the affiliate links in the description. Using those affiliate links is a simple way to support the channel at no extra cost to you. And if you need more Severna in your life, and who doesn't, you can also find more content over at severnaliving.com. Check it out. So yes, you can absolutely engrave photos on slate stone coasters, but I think the more interesting takeaway is this. Some of your best looking projects might start as sold test pieces you almost gave up on. And that is one of the great things about this hobby of ours though. You test, you mess up, you adjust, you learn something you were not expecting, and then suddenly a leftover coaster becomes something worth showing off. If you try this, let me know which prep or which version looks best to you. The lacquer version, the black acrylic version, or the WWGB version. Or if you keep it natural. And if you have a favorite slate photo setting that works well for you, drop it in the comments, because I'm always curious as to how other people approach this stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me and going down this little testing rabbit hole. You know I always appreciate you being here though. I'm Alex from Severna Builds, and I will see you on the next one.